Movie makers are only human, so sometimes they like to put little inside jokes into their movies, hidden gems as a wink and a nod to ardent fans. Other times they pay attention to small little details that you wouldn't have noticed otherwise. Of course, with film fans watching movies over and over again, it's only a matter of time before these Easter eggs get discovered. 10 Easter eggs in popular movies you probably missed. R2-D2 and 3CPO, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Everyone loves and remembers Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's Harrison Ford's signature role and took us all over the world adventuring. Most of the plot of Raiders takes place in Egypt, which means we spend a lot of time looking at hieroglyphs. After a while of seeing them everywhere, they eventually just blend into the background, and we stop noticing them. This allowed the set team to have some fun. What you probably didn't notice at first, though, was a certain robotic duo from another George Lucas-produced feature, Star Wars, also starring Harrison Ford, made a surprise appearance in those hieroglyphs. George Lucas and Steven Spielberg are great friends and have worked with each other numerous times. As a result, this is only one of many crossover references between Steven Spielberg and George Lucas. The Naughty Couple, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Alfonso Cuarón's only Harry Potter movie is generally considered the best one. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban brought a lot of expressive cinematography and symbolism to a film series that was lacking it. It was an astoundingly dramatic shift in tone from the two Christopher Columbus movies set before it. It was also the only major appearance of the Marauder ship, a magical item that maps out all the Hogwarts and everyone currently working in it. Needless to say, there are some major privacy violations going on at Hogwarts. One example is during the credits. At one point, in the corner of the screen, we see this. I'm sure that you can all gather what's going on here. The Xenomorph Skull, Predator 2. Predator was a testosterone-fueled 80s classic that proved that if you're smart and ripped, you can destroy any alien. It taught us all great lessons like, if it bleeds, you can kill it, and the perfect way to handshake. The sequel, on the other hand, was a little different. Rather than taking place in a natural jungle, it takes place in the concrete jungle. And rather than the behemoth that was Ani, we get the decently sized Mr. Glover. But did you know that there was a xenomorph from Alien that made a cameo in Predator? It was dead, and a skull hung on the Predator's trophy wall, but it still counts. While originally it was a fun little nod to Ridley Scott's franchise, this one moment accidentally launched the entire Alien vs. Predator franchise. Doctor Strange's orb, THOR. The Orb of Agamotto is a crystal ball owned by Doctor Strange. It allows him to detect magic anywhere in the world and gives him a location and visual of what's going on. All in all, it's a pretty powerful tool that is synonymous with Doctor Strange. Usually resting in the Chamber of Shadows, the orb actually debuted on screen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe long before Doctor Strange did. It made its first appearance in Thor, where it rests in Odin's trophy room. While it was initially just there to serve as a reference, it will be interesting to see if the orb will make an appearance in Doctor Strange. While we can see him gaining at the end of the movie, it's also not hard at all to believe that Doctor Strange wouldn't use the orb at all in the MCU, leaving it just another reference. Comic writers' cameos in Daredevil. While you have to see the director's cut in order to see versions of the movie that make sense, the 2003 Daredevil movie still has a lot of cool cameos. Over the course of the movie, some of the great writers that worked on the movie make small guest appearances. Of course, we have the usual Stan Lee cameo, as he originated the character, but we also get to see Frank Miller, who reinvented the character to be the dark, pulpy vigilante we know today. We also get to see Kevin Smith, who, despite being best known for his movies and playing Silent Bob, wrote Guardian Devil, one of the greatest Daredevil stories told. These are not the only nods to the comics. The movie is full of them. Just make sure you watch the director's cuts if you want to look at them. The theatrical cut makes no sense. Lao burning, The Dark Knight. This one is hidden in plain sight the whole time. The famous scene in which the Joker burns his entire share of the money actually snuck in a murder. What a lot of people don't realize the first time around is that Lao, the Chinese criminal that Batman previously captured in Hong Kong, is actually tied up and on top of the money stack. We have to admire how careful the Joker and his goons were getting him up there without disturbing the money pile. And how much fun the Joker looked like he was having sliding down that pile, which completely distracted us from why he was on top in the first place.
I'm only burning my half.
This is again one of the many small things that the Joker does that we love. What more can you really say about a villain so eccentric he throws the champagne out of his glass before trying to drink it? The Pizza Planet truck. Most PIXAR movies, not only do they include a reference in each movie they make about their upcoming movie, but they also manage to include a Pizza Planet truck in the majority of their movies. We see it in the Toy Story movies, Bug's Life, and believe it or not, they managed to fit one into Brave, which is set in medieval Scotland. The Good Dinosaur has one. Not only that, there is allegedly a second Pizza Planet truck hidden somewhere in The Good Dinosaur that we haven't even found yet. Surprisingly, the only Pixar movie that doesn't have one is The Incredibles. We look forward to seeing that in the upcoming Incredibles 2, though. Giving away the plot, The Thing. The Thing is a great horror movie that preys upon the audience and characters' paranoia. You never know who the thing is, or what the thing is. In fact, you don't even realize that there's a thing at all, until it's too late. That is, unless you speak Norwegian, in which case the entire premise of the movie is spoiled outright, which is actually kinda genius. While certainly frustrating for those who speak the language, that already know what's going to happen, it was a cool Easter egg hidden behind a language barrier. Not only was it a cool detail, but it also put the audience in the shoes of the character, being ignorant of the warnings that the Norwegians give that they couldn't understand. Tyler Durden's stills, Fight Club. Fight Club is one of David Fincher's most popular movies. Everyone knows that shocking twist ending, but what you might not know is the subtle way that the movie sets up the twist. Did you know that there are 4 times in the movie in which Brad Pitt's character, Tyler Durden, appears for just a frame before disappearing? Not only is it very confusing to the eye when played at full speed, but if you do notice it, it gets you to think more about Tyler Durden and who or what he really is. Needless to say, this is a great Easter egg, and it's a pretty famous one by now. But it's famous for a very good reason. E.T. and the Phantom Menace. We said we'd come back to the bromance between George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. Of course, we all remember the moment in E.T. at Halloween. E.T. sees a kid dressed like Yoda and tries to run after him in the hopes that he can get home. While it's just a cute joke in the E.T. universe, in the Star Wars universe, representatives from E.T.'s race actually appeared. In the Phantom Menace, that movie you want to forget but we keep reminding you of, we see representatives from E.T.'s world appear. In the Star Wars universe, they're known as the However, due to the confusing canon of Star Wars, we're not entirely sure whether this should be considered canon or just as a joke. We looked hard to find some Easter eggs that you would know and some that would surprise you. Are there any that you wish we'd included? Leave us a comment and let us know. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and check out the rest of our channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to CBR for cool videos about movies, action heroes, gaming, comics, and more.